Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for some more of the Champions Cup. We're up to the round of 16. It's almost been 4 months or so since the last round of the Champions Cup, or at least the last one that I believe we covered here on the Kiwi Lads channel. But I'm excited for this game. Sharks taking on Munster. We've seen it recently in the URC. Now we get to see it for the Champions Cup as a part of a very exciting competition. Looking through at these two sides, both sides have stacked their teams for this contest. Neither want to go down in defeat. It is a one-leg race, so pretty much if you win this, you go through to the quarterfinals. If you lose, you are out of the Champions Cup. Looking through the Sharks, it's going to be Oxnashare, Bongi Manambi, and Thomas Detoy. So an all Springbok front row for them in the props and the hook. I'm very excited for this game. As you can tell, sentences are hard when you are this excited. Ebenezer at number 4, going to be bringing the physicality. And when you see who Munster have as one of their locks, it'll just make you a little bit more intrigued with this battle as well. Gerbera Robala will be there at number 5. The loose forward trio, Sia Khaleesi, Vincent Tachuka, and also it is Noche slotting in at number 8. Jaden Hendrickse at 9 with Kerwin Bosch 10. Van Rensburg and going to be the midfield combo with Makazole Mapimpi, Vernekock, and Chamberlain as the back 3. Looking through at the Munster side, it will be Kilcoyne, Scannell, and Salanoa as the front row. Gene Klein, I believe it is, at number 4, and then RG Snyman. So him versus Etzebeth could be very exciting. I just hope he gets through up until the World Cup without an injury so that he is able to get himself selected in the squad. Peter O'Mahony at 6, Hodnett at 7, and Gavin Coombs there at number 8. Craig Casey and Crowley, the 19 combo. Malakai Fekatoa, the Kiwi boy, who might almost be Tongan boy now with his most recent international fixture. Also Fish in the midfield, Daly, Nash, and Haley, the back 3 here for Munster. Now looking through quickly at the benches, then we will be reading the chat. Kenan van Veeren, Machuno Sari, Van Heeren, Pepsi Buthelezi, Grant Williams, Tupawai, and Tucker Abrahams, last man off the bench for the Sharks at home. Baron Wickley, also Archer, Wycherley again, Jack O'Donoghue, Connor Murray, Joey Carberry, and Kendallin there as number 23. But we have got Let's Go Munster, Let's Go in the chat from Connor Crowley. Do let me know your score prediction, mate, for this matchup. It's going to be a tough game up against a Shark side at home, but that is the thing. There are more people in attendance than I have got behind me. I've got like 3 in my picture, and I think a couple of them might be the ground staff. There they are over there doing their business, whereas here you've got a few thousand, if not, I want to say at a guess about 20,000 in attendance for this game. I could be wrong there, but it's going to be a great matchup. Evening, says Kerr. Hope you are doing well, mate. Hope you're excited for the evening session, I guess you could say, of the channel's 24 hours. We did start up at about, I want to say it was 4:30. No, in fact, it was 4 p.m. New Zealand time. So we did start up 8.5 hours ago. We have still got another 6 hours to go of rugby streaming. We get a quick break, and then we're back into it for Super Rugby Pacific, as well as the Sevens taking place tomorrow as well. So it's going to be exciting. And yeah, rugby for days. That is for sure. Malakai Fekatoa at 12. I'm interested to see how he does end up going in this Munster backline. I know that he was doing pretty decently for the Wasps. And of course, the Wasps did go under, so they did need to find a new team for a majority of their players. Malakai Fekatoa, he took the chance going to Munster. Doesn't go too badly, but a player who Munster do not have for this match, of course, would be Damien Dialende playing up against the Sharks in South Africa. But the benches look strong. Starting lineups look great. The weather's looking phenomenal at the moment in South Africa, which hopefully will be the case for the next game, as it is also going to be a South African home game between the Stormers and the Harlequins. See there, a few fans of Ebenezer and Sia Khaleesi, Springboks, involved in a very strong Sharks lineup. Let's go Sharks, says Jan Lubrand, and there as well. But I will mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It looks like they've got a lot of kids in attendance. Well, this match will be pretty awesome, as long as the Sharks play well, that is. Now, the thing that the Sharks have struggled with in the past has been kind of going between having a stacked side and a not-so-stacked side. And it seems to be that chemistry sometimes like, oh, no, kid just took a tumble. He was running out onto the field, and I think Oxnashare cleaned him up. We got $50 from Distracted Sports to start us off. Thank you very much, mate. But surely you need that for Malaysia. No? Thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciated. So you're leaving on the 20th. So I'm sure we'll get you on for a few chats up until then. Definitely if you are up late for these games. That's the thing. You could come on for halftime if you are very keen on staying up. But yeah, thank you very much, mate. Hugely appreciate it. Leka Sharkies says a roll off there, but Wayne Barnes, the referee in charge of this game. Like him or hate him, you know he's going to blow the whistle often. And it's either going to be against the side that you want to not get it blown against, or yeah, it's going to be probably against the side and stay classy champ. Off to bed, pal, says Distracted Sports. So yeah, hugely appreciate it. I hope you do sleep well. If you're excited for the Hurricanes game tomorrow afternoon up against the Western Force in the Super Rugby. Mongi and Manambi taking some deep breaths here, getting ready to go in this match. It's going to be a big occasion. I feel like the Champions Cup, the first time we've seen South African sides in a round of 16, just has that little bit more of a big match feel than it already did. Hello, Hamish. Hope you're well. Sharks by 15, says Andre Dumini. And if the Champions Cup is anything like the URC, we know that home side advantage is huge. And we've seen that often throughout the URC competition. The team at home normally wins. Kerwin Bosch to kick us off, and it is going to be the Sharks in white against Munster, who are in the grey and red. Gerberan Robler makes the first tackle of the day on Mike Haley. There's a man standing in front of the camera, so they quickly change to a different one, telling the man to sit down, get out of the way. Now rolling the ball back, Craig Casey. Going to be available for him to use at the back. Now, not one of the biggest halfbacks in World Rugby, but certainly one who still manages to get up every time he gets smashed. Now, Norcia takes it beautifully. Good low tackle made. I believe that would have been John Hornet now going off. Going to be, a bit of a slip from Makazole Mapimpi. Looks like the ground is a little bit soft underfoot. The players will have to take that into consideration. Hendricksa goes across to Thomas the Toy. And Munster by between 5 and 10, says Kerr for the prediction there. But it will be Jaden Hendrickson now rolling this one back. Putting it high, Kerwin Bosch. The Sharks chasing after it, including Werner Koch, who gets up, takes it beautifully back to his feet, finds the offload, lands a Vincent Tchoka. Now Hendricks going across now to Ebenezer, first carry of the match for the big man, tackled by Niall Scannell. Hendricks goes away to Bosch. Now nice step from Rancy van Rensburg. Doesn't quite go through, but still some good forward momentum here, building for the Sharks early on in this contest. Makazole Mapimpi driven backwards in the tackle by Jean Klein. We haven't seen big RG Snyman make a tackle yet, but you can see him lurking, 2 meters tall. Had a lot of injury troubles in the past, but looking forward to his opportunity. Now that one has just gone into touch. The Munster about 7 meters out from their line will now have the line out. And how do Munster have it? How do Munster have if they win? I assume that's who do Munster have if they win. I did take a picture of the overall thingy, Mabob. I'll quickly get that up so I can see exactly who they play. Go down here. There it is. Right. So if Munster win this game, they will go on to face the winner of Toulouse versus the Vodacom Bulls. So there's a chance that we could see either Toulouse versus Munster or maybe even a South African derby as that other option taking place. But now currently the South Africans only about 5 meters out from Munster's line, but Munster in position, kicking it downfield off the left boot. And it does go out about 30 meters from the line. Territory will be important early on. Big love, says Sebastian. I knew you would be popping in at some stage, Seb. Of course, you'll be nervous. Stormers play the Quins next. Daylight saving in New Zealand kind of sucks because I don't know whether my live stream's scheduled for the right time because the game starts at 2 a.m. New Zealand time, but it's not 2 a.m. the first time round. It's 2 a.m. the second time round when the clock does go from 3 to 2. So either way, we're going to be live at some stage for that game covering the full match, but the penalty goes the way of the Sharks for not releasing. I believe that's against a Roman Salanoa there. And we're just out of the Hong Kong Sevens. Long day, but fun. Were you able to see me? I was looking around for a Luigi all-day rugby itch, but we didn't spot you. Unfortunately, there were a lot of people in large costumes, but we had about 3 of us scouting for you. Hopefully we do get are you going tomorrow? And what will you be wearing tomorrow? Rugby itch, do let me know. Just a little bit of a mistake there from the Sharks. No, sorry, from the Munster side. So now it does mean that Kerwin Bosch will be able to try and line up this kick. 4 minutes down at the moment. This will be the first points on the board It's on at 3 o'clock. See, 3 o'clock's all well and good, but for New Zealand time, 3 a.m. for us becomes 2 a.m. because of daylight saving. So we lose an hour, which makes it a bit more confusing. Because I originally had it scheduled for 1:55. It would be fine if I was starting at exactly the time that it starts, but because I'm starting 5 minutes earlier, live streaming will get confused. That one has gone over. Nice kick from Kerwin Bosch, and that will now make the score 3-0. Using up plenty of time there. Bosch about 40 seconds or so to take that kick, making sure that he's confident with his kicking ability. Tell you what, as long as he doesn't shank it like Isaac Henry for the Reds did the other day, he will be completely fine. Jesus says, Joe, welcome in, Joe. Hope you are doing all right. And now Jack Crowley to kick this one off again for Munster. Getting it high and looking to retain here, but they don't get a Gubera. Robala does go up for the ball and takes it very nicely. Now, ball available. RG Snyman, bit of a counter attack in the breakdown, does tackle Oxnashare. Now, Hendrickson will be able to use this one again. I'll be at the Hong Kong Sevens tomorrow as well. Got to go, but good luck with the stream, says Rabbi. Actually, we will see you hopefully tomorrow on the TV. Going to be going up. Makazole Mapimpi, I believe he knocked that one on. Yes, he does. Wayne Barnes plays advantage, but Munster managed to regather. So Kilcoyne now hits it up at the Sharks line, rolling. Maybe illegally, the way that he did get that many meters. Nice short ball there from Crowley. Okay, advantage over from the knock-on, but good quick hands. Gavin Coombs ball on the outside. This is opening up now for Shane Daly. There's no defence. Owen Kerwin Bosch, he's gone over the line. I believe he scored it, and that will be the first try of the match for Munster. That looked a little bit too easy. There was no fullback in play. Now, I believe Chamberlain is supposed to be back there, but I don't know whether it was because it was a slight counter-attack or something else, but Chamberlain was nowhere to be seen. He could have been sitting on the sideline having a beverage for all we know. Where is he? Yota Chamberlain. Did he rush up? I think he might have rushed up in a 2-on-1, left a gap the size of South Africa, and then they were able to go straight over for Shane Daly. Just almost got himself in a little bit of trouble. Lucanio Arm and Werner Koch both put it in the hard shot on him, but he manages to get over the line. Munster score the first try. Jack Crowley is my cousin, says Connor Crowley. Are you doing all right at the moment? The number 10 is about to take this kick. So we're either going to say your cousin is a great kicker or your cousin is a terrible kicker, depending on this one. And grip and stuff, says Joe there. A great start to the match for Munster. They did concede that early 3, but firing back, not willing to go back for that original advantage and just continue playing. Try and wear down this Sharks side. But that will take a lot of effort because, as we know, the Sharks normally very well accustomed to having to dig deep. That kick has gone over from Crowley. He's my grandfather, says Joe. So Jack Crowley, who's, I'd say he's 22, somewhere around there, had a child when he was, although in a weird way, like depending on how old Jack Crowley could, no, so it's a bit too weird, Joe. I was going to say depending on how old the woman was with Jack Crowley, but even so, it's tricky to get to that position. That looked like it might have been close to a knock-on, but just managed to hold on for Munster there now. Craig Casey be rolling this ball back across, giving it to Kilcoyne. Pins the ears back, makes a couple more meters. Believe they're going to be close to going for that kick and behind. Try for the Munsterman. Says Sebastian there as well. Craig Casey puts up the box kick, partially. Charged down by Edsa before. Big challenge in the air for Chamberlain. Gets forced back where Crowley is from Cork. Could be a grandparent at 22. Says Sebastian. I guess it's genetically possible, maybe, if he's lucky. You know, watching the game using Flow Rugby, I hear it fine, but I can't see it as I've got a black screen. Says Connor. Oh, I'm not sure whether or not we have got too many watching on Flow. That is going to be now the penalty going the way of the Sharks. Gavin Coombs not happy there. Neither was Makazole Mapimpi. He was trying to let go of the ball. Makazole Mapimpi wasn't quite keen on how long that it did take for him to get rid of it. Sharks win easy, says Marco Kelly. I guess this is the point that we should ask for some score predictions, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think the end score will be? Currently 8.5 minutes. John Bosch needs to be careful doing it that way. He said that he wants to take the kick for the post, but then he dropped it down onto his foot. Now, if Munster were strategic, they would have run forward there and said, well, he's tapped it. And I don't know whether or not the referee would have been able to deny that. Yeah, just in the breakdown, coming in through the side, Gavin Coombs. That's why he has been penalised. This will be a relatively tough kick. 48 metres out for Kerwin Bosch. Currently sitting 1 from 1 today. Well, the last kick was a little bit closer, of course, but still has the distance in his arsenal, Kerwin Bosch. I'm sure they'll be looking forward to the opportunity if they make it through to either end up playing up against Munster or another South African side. And the Bulls, Joey seems to be out of the picture for good, says Joe there. So Joey Carberry, we're talking. I know that he is coming off the bench in this game, but it seems to be the Irish picture. It's slightly more leaning towards blue. And the reason I say that is you've got Johnny Sexton. Once he's gone, it seems like it's either going to be Byrne or maybe, I mean, he's actually moved recently though, but Kieran Frowley, opportunity for him maybe at 10. Carberry's still a slight option, but it seems like he's slowly dropping further down the pecking order unless they're strategically using him as the last man onto the field. Last 30 minutes or so, see if he can create some magic for Munster and give maybe Jack Crowley a bit more time at the helm first. 22 drop out with the kick missed from Kerwin Bosch. Kick down deep, taken by Bosch here, and he will have to try and run this ball back. Goes short side to Makazole Mapimpi now. Sia Khaleesi thought about the offload, does find it to Mapimpi. Leaves the ball in the field of play, and Munster did end up knocking that ball on. So they'll go back, and it's actually going to become a penalty against Munster. That is the third so far. Now taking the quick tap for Jaden Hendrickse. Goes up to Notchie. Now across to the right-hand side. Oxnashe sits RG Snyman down. Tell you what, if they're both in the Bok training camp, they'll be talking about that one. Lukanyuam, little grubber attempting behind it. Does end up sitting up for the young fly-half. Jack Crowley, about 5 Sharks, all swarming into that breakdown. Killed Coyne, though. Does manage to walk away with the ball in hand. Looks like Craig Casey might be considering the pocket here. No, first of all, going across to Peter O'Mahony. Then the cock working hard in the breakdown, as he always does. Now Craig Casey putting up the box kick again. Munster to win 40 points to 20 and Sharks 34 to 42. In favour of Munster. His kicking got penalty. Penalty kicking got real bad. And that's the thing. Someone like, I mean, we've seen that in New Zealand, Bowden Barrett. He went through a patch how he couldn't hit them from 15 metres out, let alone any further. But now, sometimes it's just a matter of having a season where you're working on it behind closed doors and you're not really showing off it too much. And then you get to that new season. Like Bowden's kicking really well this year, which is something didn't really expect to see at the start. But it is going to be now available for Oxnashe. Goes across to Eben Etzebeth, gets his ankles taken out from underneath him by Jack Crowley. Hendrickse, short ball to Thomas du Toit. It was close to a knock-on. In fact, it will be. And they'll go back now for the scrum in favour of Munster. Thomas du Toit frustrated with that one early. It's looking dry out there, so I don't think moisture on the ball would be any excuse for putting that ball down. Maybe looking up to where he wanted to run before. He did have it in his hands. Yeah, he was ready. Yeah, it just slipped out. It was pretty much right in the bread basket, but the ball popped out the way that he definitely didn't want it to, and now we will get to see this Munster and Sharks scrum in action. Oh, here's a question, ladies and gentlemen. Who do you think will score the next try of the match? Now, normally we would have it for the first try, but we have already seen the try scored by Shane Daly. But the next try of the contest, the exact player. Let's see if anyone can get this right. I am going to go that it will be Pepsi Buthelezi. Actually, no, I won't. Because I just realised he's not in the starting lineup. I'll go with Notchie instead. How do you remember all those guys' names? Needs preparation/study, says Joe. Quite a bit of both. But I also occasionally will have the lineups. Either the names that I always forget, I'll have like a little notepad up in the top corner that says like 5 or so names of the players that I don't quite remember as often as I'd like. And then, yeah, just from there, looking at pronunciations of how to say them. That's why some of these South African names roll off the tongue a lot smoother than they used to. Some of them used to sound horrific when they came out of my New Zealand mouth. just because I had that New Zealand twang. That ball's available. Hendrickson now trying to fight for it. Looks like it's going to be a really ugly scrap here, but they have managed to get it out. Hubra, Robala. Now, Hendrickson thought about milking the offside penalty, but instead, Vincent de Chuka being absolutely nailed in the tackle. But here comes Werner Koch down the wing. Tackled by Gavin Coombs, 10 metres out now from the line. It's going to be a knock-on against Munster, and they'll go back for the scrum. Now, this is actually a very good opportunity for Not Share because they'll be 10 metres out. They might consider going with them off the back, and too much moisture on the balls can be a real issue, says Kerr. Exactly right. Definitely after you've gone for a big run. Crowley says, Kerr, of course I'm joking. I don't run. 10 metres out from the line. Yeah, just the knock-on from Haley. And I say, kills or at the bit. At the bit. Is that Etzebeth? Maybe. Has autocorrect done a madness on your last one? There, Connor, maybe? Now, scrum for the Sharks. They are wearing the white away colours for this home game. Like I mentioned, 10 metres out from the line, a great position on the field to be able to go far in this set play. Right, the big push is coming. Notchi actually slightly changing his bind there. They should be able to milk the advantage or at least get the penalty advantage here. Or do they? No. Number 9 picked it up and lost it forward. Jaden Hendrickson making the mistake. You see me running, my arm is stuck on the bus door, says Kerr. I've always liked to think that I'd like to go for a run at some stage, but then I take a couple steps that are quicker than a walk and go, no, that's not going to work. Like something about momentum and gravity. Gravity is the thing that stops me from running, we'll go with. Sounds all right on paper, doesn't it? I'm not watching the game, watching the sevens. I came in to say hello, says Novmum. Welcome in, Novmum. Are you going to be watching the game between the Hurricanes and the Force tomorrow afternoon, Novmum? I believe we will have a George joining us for that live stream. We will also be doing the sevens all throughout the afternoon. Anyone who is new and who enjoys a bit of sevens, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Craig Casey now about to feed the ball in for Munster, asking for an early pushing free kick. The ball's still not going in. Casey's got to use it. Coombs goes across down to Malachi Fekatoa. I believe he is eligible to play for Tonga in the Rugby World Cup, if I'm not wrong. He has had those Tongan internationals just a little bit more previously. Werner Koch, what can he do? He's going to run it back infield, stepping round 2, trying to step round 3. He's got over through the tackle with Gavin Coombs, now off to the left-hand side here. Makazole Mapimpi cuts through a gap. There was a slip there. Nice offload to Jaden Hendrickson. He's gone. Right. I believe he scored the try. He might have hurt himself in the process, but they may just go upstairs to check this one. Is this like the 10th game you've streamed today, says Schlang, or something like that? Yeah. Somewhere up there. If I did the maths, I know that we did... What do we do? I think we did a game at 4 p.m. Then we did the Super Rugby with the sevens. Then we did a Super Rugby. Then we did 2 sevens. Now, only the 8th. Only the 8th. We're not too bad. But we have still got another 2 more to go. So I guess it will be 10 by the end of the night. And then plus another about 15 tomorrow. And come on the Sharks, says Gareth. And also we now in second last round, correct, says Roloff. So this one at the moment for the Champions Cup, I believe these are only one-off contests for the round of 16. If you win this, you go through to the round of 8 and also known as the quarterfinals. What I'll quickly do is I was hogging that picture all to myself, the one that showed who plays who. I'll share it on screen so you guys can see exactly who is going to be matching up with who. Here we go. It is quite small. I will admit these times are not New Zealand time as well, I should mention. So as you can see here, Leicester, they have already advanced. They will be facing off against the winner of Leinster or Ulster. They are playing later on today. We are covering that one. This one is taking place at the moment. The winner of this game will go on to face either the Bulls or Toulouse. Kerwin Bosch has got that 3-pointer over, or sorry, the conversion over, I should say. So that will now make the score 10 points to 7 in favour of the Sharks. It looks like Jaden Hendrickson has taken a real knock, though, in the process of scoring that try. And you've got that group up the top, Stade de France, not Stade de France, La Rochelle taking on Gloucester. The winner of that one will face Saracens or Ospreys. So you would say in some regards, that's probably the easier grouping. Though La Rochelle normally do very nicely when it comes to Champions Cups. And Harlequins playing the Stormers. That is the next game that we are covering on the channel. They play off against Montpellier or the Exeter Chiefs, the winner of that fixture. I thought it's the URC. Thanks, says roll off there. Oh, yeah, he lands awkwardly, and that arm kind of gets stuck underneath his body there, Jaden Hendrickson. So he certainly hurt something. And I always say it, any injuries that you pick up now lead straight into that World Cup of whether or not you are going to be available. So the last thing that they wanted to have that injury that early. Grant Williams now will make his way out onto the field. Are we in the last 16? So still quarters, semis, and then final. There's Gareth. And also we will try to hold. We'll try to tell the husband, get me up at 1:30 p.m., which means watching the men's quarter final. That one's going into touch there. Yeah, New Zealand, they play at 2:02 p.m., don't they, up against Argentina for their fixture. And also another big one, Fiji versus South Africa. That is going to be an excellent game when it does end up taking place. Go like this. We'll go like that as well. The Sharks now sitting 10 points to 7. It's going to be a knock-on from Munster there, just knocking it along. I think the Munster URC game is in the 22nd of April, so we're not too far away from getting to see that one as well. I'm just checking the odds for this one, and it seems like the Sharks still coming in as favourites for this contest, as they would, seeing as they have got the home field advantage. Harlequins will win the grand final, says Schlanger. Schlanger, have you met Seb or Sebastian? Because I think you two would get along quite well. He is also a Harlequins fan. Scrum now for the Sharks, 15 metres out from their own line. Deep inside of their own territory. It looks like there might be another injury for Roman Salanoa. He actually had one a bit earlier on, and I think that might just be a little bit of a follow-up one here. This. Oh, scoreboards. Yep, there we go. All good. Only 19 minutes through at the moment. The Sharks, 3 points ahead. This 18 or 19 minutes has gone very quickly. Where did George go? KFC, says Schlanger. No, KFCs don't open that late here. Our ones close at about 10 p.m. So he headed home. He's going to be sleeping, and then he is going to be popping around for a live stream tomorrow afternoon for the Western Force versus the Hurricanes. And come on, you Quins, says Sebastian, between the URC Champions Cup, Curry Cup, Varsity Cup, and Sevens. Lose track sometimes, says Rolf, which is fair enough. There is plenty of sport on. Like, trying to write it all out in a schedule each week, working out what games we're doing, what games overlap, what games we can't do because of those overlaps. Like, there is a lot of working out that goes into it. That's probably the only type of working out I actually do. Exercise-wise, no. Although with the new job, possibly, I'll have to do a bit more walking and jogging around. How did come on for Munster? Is that who did come on for Munster? I believe at this stage they made the sub in the front row, and it is going to be Stephen Archer now, who has replaced Salanoa. So I don't know whether he's off for an HIA or whether it is just an injury-based scenario where he won't be coming back, but Wayne Barnes just telling the boys how to scrummage. Bind and set. Ball's going to be fed in. And Hamish Andrew Tate just got released from jail, says Tesla there. He was in jail, wasn't he? Was he in Romania? Somewhere like that. It's going to be a kick downfield. Good kick from Kerwin Bosch. That will clear some of the pressure that Munster are creating, but they do need to make sure they play a majority of the rest of this first half inside of Munster territory. Also, why not just use a wheelchair? Saves the legs. Doesn't save the arms, though. Unless you got one of those ones with the stick that is electronic or kind of like motorized. Other than that, though, you're probably using your arms more than you would have been using your legs when you're walking. It's going to be nicely done by Peter O'Mahony. Goes off to Craig Casey. Now short ball to Malachi Fekatoa trying to break through the tackle by Jansi van Rensburg. And able to drag him down nicely through the hands of Peter Momani. It's gone backwards though. RG Snyman manages to find the offload now. And it seems like that is actually a tactic that the Munster are going to be using. A whole heap of offloads. Great kick downfield. Goes out about maybe 15 metres out from the 22. What an absolute disgrace. I resub to Flow Rugby, spent $30 and I get a black screen for this game. Pretty pissed off, to be honest. Is kind of, hopefully if you reach out to them, they will be able to help you out. But it seems like they are one that do struggle quite a bit in terms of like technical difficulties. I reckon an Ulster win tonight, says Gareth. Got a good chance up against Leinster, although the big thing is they're playing at the Aviva. And yeah, go motorised for sure, says Joe there. Thomas DeToy claims that one for the Sharks. Looked like a little bit of an injury there for Niall Scannell, but he has got back to his feet. Looks like he's going to be able to continue. Box 7's very frustrating this season. Don't know what's wrong. Although at the moment they're making their way relatively far in Hong Kong. Going to be through to the quarterfinals where they do have to go head-to-head with Fiji. So that will be a very testing game for them. Has to be one of the most random comments I've ever seen pop up, says Kerr there. And I already have. We'll head back sometime in 24 hours. Fat lot of good that does me, says Connor. And then game will be over well over by then. That is true. Because what country are you watching from, Connor? Is there any other way of watching it from where you are in terms of broadcasters or anything like that? But then I guess they're all subscription-based, aren't they? So it makes it worse. That's going to be nicely claimed. Well, the man who only just made his way onto the field. Quick hands from Fekatoa. I thought about that. Another offload there. John Hodden it off the feet. Great work was the comment from Wayne Barnes there. Pressed with the work of Emmanuel Tichuka for getting out of the way. And the breakdown that is also leaving his feet. They've gone through and they've got that ball there, the Sharks. I wasn't sure if the referee was going to give them that one, but they do. And now it's going to be available at the back. Norcia back into the pocket. Goes to Kerwin Bosch now looking for the 50, 22. Oh, it's a tough one straight into the sun. Did he get a hand to it? He does. So now it is going to be, no, you don't show them that you were looking into the sun. He's just made a monumental mistake there because he was going like this to his teammates going, oh, I couldn't see it. So where's the first place that the other team's going to kick the ball now? You're going to kick it out to his wing because he can't see. And coverage starts in 30 minutes. KO is showing the game 1 hour late for some reason. I don't know why. Says Schlanger. And how am I still awake? Says Bads of Blaze. Don't know, but if you want something to listen to, we have got a lot of live streams coming up throughout the night. Currently 22 and a half minutes through this match. Drop ball from Kelvin Nash now gives the Sharks a bit of an opportunity here. And SuperSport streams everything, but it's about 800 Rand per month. There's a roll off there. And I'm in Canada, so yeah, I think Flow Rugby's probably the only option, isn't it? In Canada that I can think of. Well, it's going to be fed in now for Grant Williams. Waiting for this one at the back. It looks like it's going to be holding relatively solid. They get the advantage now, though, the Sharks. They were just waiting for it. Notchia tries to break through, has dropped the ball. Penalty for the Sharks. Waiting for Wayne Barnes to mark where it was. But he was just walking over. He wasn't too keen on the quick tap being taken. Right, Kerwin Bosch. They're currently 3 points up. They kick for the corner. They're going aggressive here. Now, bonus points don't mean anything in this game. $1 because 18.5 Rand, if anyone wants to work that out. Says Gareth there. Yeah, no, my brain doesn't work at this hour of the night. I assume that works out to be like, I don't know, I want to say like 70. Oh, no, he sat on him. Evan Etzebeth just had a man up on his shoulders. Now around the side, Bongi on Manumbi. Oh, flicking that ball out the back. And also we have got there, to make it worse, I'm using Google Chrome. It's one of two of the browsers that support streaming, says Connor. And so Tachuka now around the side. Getting closer here. Sharks getting over. Oh, Eben. I think he's done a double movement there. He's kind of wiggled. I think he's just having a bit of a conversation with one of the players who were down there as well. I don't know whether or not that has become a try for Ebenezer, but my first initial reaction was he was short. Then he did end up trying to push his way over. And also we have got there, I ended up watching Kiwi Lads playing Rugby Challenge 4 through the week. Midweek rugby is great, says Kurt. Which one did you watch in the end, Kerr? Do let me know. Was it a... I know that we have the England versus New Zealand one actually pinned on our channel. Anyone here use nicotine pouches? Nope. And also, what do you use, H? For the stream, I use StreamYard. So it's one of the more expensive ones around, but I found that it does the job, which is the main thing. Like, I haven't had too many technical issues with it. Right. First of all, Etzebeth for me was short, but then he rolled over and then had a little bit of a wiggle forward. Maybe momentum, they might call it, pushing him over the line. This could be the second try of the match now for the Sharks. Someone did say Etzebeth, or even though autocorrect did completely turn it around, I believe that's who they meant. Right. So the referee says it is a try from his point of view. Then he rolls over Etzebeth. Hey, that's the ball on the line. That's going to be a try for Eben Etzebeth. Doesn't score too many at all, but that one is going to be one. Aku and Bosch are going to be able to take this conversion. They will find themselves up by 10 at this point by the looks of it. But that is the second European Cup try appearance, or sorry, second European Cup try for Eben in 6 appearances. And AB England was the one of them. Yeah, the rematch. Yeah, that is the one that we butchered at the end, isn't it? If I'm not wrong. I don't know whether or not I should keep that as the video that pops up for people who are new to the channel, or whether I should change it to something to do with what else we do. But I think if we ever did like a subscriber special of some sort, like in terms of 25,000 or 20,000, which we missed because of the hard drive blowing up, but like 25,000, I feel like if we had anything special for that, we'd probably put that as the new video. Blues Crusaders was one as well. Watched a few during a sleepless night, says Kerr. If you get a chance to watch the career mode of me and George playing as the Blues, I recommend it. There are a few funny moments. There was almost a breaking point near one of the later games. I won't spoil too much, though. Kick downfield from the Sharks, moving down towards the halfway line. Well taken. Ripped away by Kelvin Nash, who saw that one without blaming the sun. Now Casey goes across. Kilcoyne runs it at the line, although RG Snyman fell over in the process. So Eben, I thought that was a clean turnover. No. They've actually given it away for not rolling away against Eben Etzebeth. 3 was still in the way. So they've said that Thomas the Toy was in there. What an unfunny April Fool's joke it's turned out to be, says Connor there. Just put copious amounts of deep heat on it and you'll be fine, says Gareth. That drive that Eben scores, poaching ball behind the scrum was awesome. Or poaching ball behind the scrum was awesome, sorry. Now, 26 minutes through. Sharks 17 points to 7 up. Career mode with the Canes is next. Oh, geez, those are old school ones. They're like the ones where I hardly talked, or I had little chatters in them, but nowhere near as much talking as I have now, that is for sure. You hear a little quiet Hamish going, so now I'm going to go for the pass out wide. RG Snyman takes it nicely. Now, nice inside ball, back out. Tell you what, Hodden's been busy so far throughout this matchup, but that is once again going to be Kelvin Nash with the ball. RG Snyman tries to go for the offload. He seems to do it every time he goes into a breakdown. It can be very risky. I believe Munster have actually managed to rip that ball back after Guveran Hrobala does give it up on the ground. Now Casey goes off the Fekatoa. Rush defense from Vernecock. Gets him around the ankles. Oh, interception. Great read of the play by Koo, and Bush just shot up. Managed to get himself the turnover. Damn, did he get rucked? Says a Gareth there, and Kane's, oh no, I read that one. And I was like, nah, most like a tackle, says Badza. And I watched the Blues Chiefs highlights. That stuff worries me. There's a roll off. That one's gone into touch. That is now going to be a line out for Munster. And once again, about 38 metres out from the Sharks line. Grant Williams doesn't look too happy with it, but it wasn't the worst kick in the world that he could have pulled out. Like a decent attendance here at the stadium, which is great to see. You want to see plenty of people enjoying the Champions Cup. And the fact that they've got a home game here for the Sharks is that much more impressive. Kilcoyne was searching that ball down, but didn't quite find it into his hands. Kick downfield from Vindercock towards the 22 of Munster. Taken nicely now, and it's going to be a run back from the try scorer. Shane Daly passes across to Mike Haley. Does get tackled well. Off to the right, wide, sling and pass. Now out wide, Calvin Nash goes round Makazole Mapimpi, still bursting through, breaking through the tackle with Mapimpi again. Don't think it's very often you see Mapimpi miss a tackle, let alone two in a row. Casey now off to the left-hand side. Numbers here. Does that count as a deliberate knockdown? Oh, now this is interesting because it hit a hand of a Munster man before it went back to Janse van Rensburg. So I think now they're trying to ask for a deliberate knockdown there, Munster, but they're probably lucky that it didn't end up in an intercept try. And right, I need to sleep now. Good night. All have a good stream and enjoy the rugby, everyone, says Beds Blaze. Yeah, hopefully you do sleep well. Looks like there is some sort of injury here for Calvin Nash after his big run. I'm definitely going to lose my voice by the end of today. We've still got tomorrow coming just around the corner. That is why I got strategic and filmed all my previews before this match. So that if it did end up with the case of me not having a voice, we would still have their footage. Yeah, it was a great run, breaking through Makazole Mapimpi's tackle once, then breaking through it again. And he did look like he did have just a little bit of a moment of grimace almost when he did take that second step round Makazole Mapimpi and take care, Betty. I just hope the box stick with the original plan, forwards and kick. We're going to try and play like New Zealand. We're effed. Where can I watch the match? Depending on whereabouts you are in the world, of course, will depend on your options. But whereabouts are you, Dragos? And we will try our best to help you out with a broadcaster. We have got G'day, mate, says Aussie Jail Stories TV. Welcome in. Hope you are doing very well, mate. Let me know who you think will be walking away with the victory here. Currently 17 points to 7. Sharks getting the lead. Anybody have a link? Says you. I believe there's not really many free options of being able to watch this game other than if you are actually in, I want to say if you're in Ireland, it's free. From Romania. So that would be wherever Sebastian watches the game, which I believe he is beIN Sports, maybe, but I could be wrong there. I got a water slide at the rugby ground. It's very impressive. And winners of the European Champions Cup versus the winners of Super Rugby for Rugby Challenge 4 video. Next, starting with last year. Could be keen. We actually want to do a few more Rugby Challenge videos. I don't know whether you saw it, but I snuck a Rugby Challenge 4 Sevens matchup between Samoa and Fiji that I released on about Saturday or so. So it kind of got lost in the huddle of live streams plus the other kind of videos and everything along those lines. But yeah, we snuck one in there. I'm watching from the UK on BT Sport 2. Don't know where I could watch it in Romania. I think Digi, but I don't have Digi and I want to see it online, says Dragos. Yeah, see, I think a lot of these ones are unfortunately subscription based and some links to try. Normally, the only links that are around for rugby matches get you viruses, unfortunately, unless you find a site that somehow doesn't, but most of them do, unfortunately. We're just watching through Sky Sports Select here in New Zealand. Grubberton behind, just kicked into touch by Munster. A bit of a negative way of doing it. They were only 22 metres out. They could have at least gone for a bit of an attack before putting that ball into touch. Could try at Ram Ranch. Says Gareth, I've heard that it's a lovely place. And also, isn't Supersport available worldwide? Says roll off to a certain extent. It depends on the country a little bit. So Supersport, I believe, is available all through Africa. But then I'm not too sure about a few other locations. Like for me, I know I have to have a VPN to be able to access Supersport. I see, thank you so much. Says Dragos there. So yeah, sorry that there aren't too many options of being able to watch it. Although on the European Champions Cup YouTube channel, straight after this game, you'll be able to catch the highlights. And you can't watch this in Romania. Be blocked, says Schlanger. 30 minutes in. Graham Williams once again has to kick that one for the touchline. See, now Munster find themselves trying to attack from 40 metres out. Why didn't they just attack from the 22 when they had that opportunity rather than putting the ball in behind, trying to play that extra territory position at the moment? 52% in favour of the Sharks. RG Snyman goes up, manages to grab that line out up against Eben Etzebeth, now looping around. Here come the quick hands. Mike Haley, ball on the outside. Shane Daly now with a good opportunity to step in. The cock comes flying in, delivers the spear. Now Peter O'Mahony, only 15 metres out, I should say. Gavin Coombs. Now Mbanombi on the man, not the ball. So he won't end up winning the penalty there. Munster getting a lot of men to the breakdown just to make sure that they do keep this ball alive. RG Snyman once again going for another offload. Now short pass, big run from Kilcoyne, goes over the top of Makazole Mapimpi. Sells the dummy. Craig Casey goes across to Peter O'Mahony, still 5 metres out. Creeping forward, RG Snyman trying to decide where he wants to go. Does pass it off to the short side. 1 metre. 9 phases in as well here for Munster. Looks like there's a pile of bodies just next to the try line. Sharks, if they do decide to go wide here, Munster, they could be in for the money. They just need to go to the left. Sharks have no one out there, and Grant Williams is calling for more men on this far side. Around the side, though, they've gone over. And Munster, they didn't need their back line. Fekito is frustrated. Like, he kind of went like that, but then celebrated the try as if to say, oh, thought that was going to be my chance. I'll get it in my midweek viewing. See his cue there? Yeah, we got plenty of random rugby challenge videos on the channel from over the years. Some of them, like back in the old school, we didn't even have our voice in it. It used to just be the pretty much just highlights of a match that we play on Rugby Challenge. But we eventually started talking, which is good. Come on, Munster. And also, come on, Munster, says John. And they've just got themselves a try to get back into the contest. Like I mentioned earlier on, the winner of this game faces either Toulouse or the Bulls. And go Munster, says Dave there as well. And it's on BT Sports 3, not 2 in Ireland plus UK, says Richard Horty. And who scored the 2 tries for the Sharks? So we did see the first try of the match being scored by Jaden Hendrickse, which did actually cost him an injury in the process. So that is why he's no longer out on the field. And instead, Grant Williams has replaced him. And then the second try was scored by Eben Etzebeth. It's very impressive from him. Now Munster, 33 minutes and another opportunity to kick at the goalpost for Jack Crowley, sitting 1 from 1 tonight. Dang it, says Gareth. I guess 1 from 1 this afternoon, I should say, for you guys. In South Africa, the kick is successful. They'll make the score now 14 points for Munster, 17 for the Sharks. Getting close and serious. Hendrick's injury seemed to be the way that he fell when he scored the try and got crushed. It was either the arm or something, maybe, or might have been the ribs. I want to say it didn't look as serious as some of the other injuries we've seen lately, but it could still see him out for a maybe month or 2, depending on what it is. If it is just a bit of a like bruised rib or an injured rib or something, he might be back within a few weeks. Super commentary, fair play, says John. Thank you very much, mate. Usually appreciated. We've got 2 more games later on tonight, including the Irish Derby, Leinster versus Ulster, for a spot in the quarterfinals. That will be an exciting game. Also, we are covering the Harlequins versus Stormers game. Will be taking place at Cape Town Stadium. And thank you, Needham, for the Rugby World Cup. No guarantees, of course. Like, that was just from what I saw, but hopefully he is all right, because I feel like he will definitely be a good option, definitely with de Klerk now being ruled out. According to reports, one is going to be kicked up high. Oh, knock on there. Knock on from White first. Makazole Mapimpi hasn't had the best game so far. He's missed about 3 tackles, been run over a couple times, and then also alongside that, he has also just had that drop ball. And also BT Sport 3, sorry. There's Sebastian in there as well. But I should mention, we are doing the Harlequins versus Stormers game as soon as it starts. I know it's going to sound a little bit weird, the way that it's set up for us here in New Zealand, but because there is it's a weird scenario. Because there's daylight saving here in New Zealand, the game that starts at 2 actually starts at 3, but then goes back to 2. Does that make sense? And wait, what de Klerk is out? No, it was just, I'm pretty sure it was an April Fool's prank earlier on in the day by someone, because they said that Faf de Klerk got into, wait, is it actually the case? De Klerk dropped after fighting in a supermarket? I thought it was an April Fool's joke. But is it actually the case that de Klerk's going to be out due to him fighting? Going to be available now. Peter O'Mahony managed to get this ball back from Munster. There was a bit of rough play there from the Sharks, not quite able to hang on to that ball. And now Craig Casey will look, kick this one downfield into touch. Laughing faces from Kerr. So, yeah, I think it was an April Fool's one. More than likely, a little bit of a reference to an earlier on live stream. Oh, yeah, because it's only just become April Fool's, actually. Now that I think about it, it's only early afternoon in South Africa, isn't it? So that would have been a Southern Hemisphere one, like in terms of New Zealand and Australia. And what, I haven't heard of any of this says Gareth. So, yeah, I think it was just April Fools for that one. Now, Bongi Manumbi. Got to throw that ball in, nicely taken by Notchia. Creeping sideways at the moment with Umbanumbi at the back, 30 metres out from Munster's line. It's going to get stuck in there. I don't think that ball's coming out. No, it's not. A Munster managed to get themselves the scrum feed. So far in the forwards, even though the Sharks are known for being physical, they just don't seem like they've quite been able to be the more physical side out of the two. And also we get that, says Kalitza, and you got me there. Well done, sir, says Kalitza. There as well, to be fair, I fell for it earlier on when someone said about it on a Super Rugby live stream. I know someone or some random laid charges of assault against him when he wasn't in the country, says Gareth. And also we have, that's just harsh, Sebastian. He almost killed himself by jumping off a curb. He's only little, says Seb. And Evan was almost out before last World Cup. He fought outside a bar. Says Roloff, did he win? I mean, it's Ebenezer, he probably did, didn't he? Unless he was fighting like 5 people, then it would be close for the other people. 3 minutes remaining. 17 points to 14 at the moment. Sharks looking like they're taking some pretty deep breaths at the moment here. Quite good attendance for this match. But Munster having more momentum throughout this first half. Even though the Sharks have got more points on the board, I would say overall game-wise, Munster have done a little bit better. That is mainly due to the fact that we have seen, yeah, that water slide looks quite impressive. That kid's flying in. You want to, you wouldn't want to be in the way of him when he goes steaming down, or someone's going to get absolutely smashed in the swimming pool. It's quite interesting having a swimming pool at the ground. We know XBF didn't hit that bloke because the bloke was still alive. True. And also the Sharks says Rhodes Featherstone, and also Lowell Garrett says Roloff, and Hey guys says Obi. Welcome. And they've also got bouncy castles at the game. I'm trying to think. Well, I haven't been to a game in about 15 years, so I wouldn't know what they've got now at the grounds. And yeah, it was April Fool's about the clerk. I'm glad I fooled a few people, though. Says Schlanger. Now that is going to be a free kick in favour of Munster. Front row pre-engaging. I think they'll just take this quick tap and then boot it downfield as far as they can. Once again, try and play that territory game. Yep. Crowley making sure he doesn't accidentally boot this one into touch. It has gone high. Now they won't be looking at the sun for this one. Notchia, great take from the number 8, but straight onto him. It's going to be Calvin Nash. Counter ruck there from Munster. Oh, if he had a bit more support from his teammates, might have been able to turn that ball over. Now Bongyumbanumbi on the side again. 30 metres out from their own line here. The Sharks. Grant Williams fires it back into the pocket to Kerwin Bosch. It's been taken back. Good take there, though, from Crowley, who now kicks it in behind. It's close to out on the full, but it does bounce. Oh, did it go out on the full? It certainly did. Just got it slightly wrong. You can tell he'll be disappointed with that one. Crowley was doing so well in the kicking so far, but that just gives the momentum back to the Sharks for the last 90 seconds of this first half to possibly get themselves a little bit more of a lead. They already have Bongyumbanumbi 45 metres out from the line. Of course, the Sharks not doing too badly in the URC throughout this season. Same can be said about Munster. Both sides finding themselves in the top 8. Stolen by Munster. That was RG Snyman. Was able to get across. Good control there from Gavin Coombs. Actually used his foot to be able to get that one under control. Feel like this live feed should have more than 7 likes by now. Like and subscribe, people. Says Kerr. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. We've got plenty more of the Champions Cup coming on the channel in the future. I'm not too sure of the dates of the quarterfinals. Perhaps this can help us out. No, it doesn't. Doesn't tell us when the quarterfinals will be taking place. But it's going to be exciting when they do, and we will be covering them on the channel as well. Nice step. Now, I will mention we're unable to cover the Challenge Cup due to it not being on New Zealand TV. I know that the Lions are taking part in that Challenge Cup. Hopefully they are going all right for those who support them. And now it's going back across to the hands of Notchia. Work so far from Munster's defence, not allowing Sharks through too many times, other than that early try that we did see from Jaden Hendrickson. Kick back downfield again. Nicely taken there by Mike Haley, who will run it back at the line. That is the halftime siren. Runs towards the touchline just in case. Kelvin Nash now driven down by Gurban Robala. Do they look for one more try? It looks like they will. Trying to break the line. Archie Snyman knocked the ball on. That will be the end of the half. And it is now going to be 17 points to 14 at the end of the first half. The quarterfinals are on the 7th or 8th or 9th of April. Are they? It seems a bit rough. So you go from playing your round of 16 games straight away next week. You're into the quarterfinals. I guess it could be the way that they've done it, but that just seems like it's very close. Definitely for the sides. Let's just say, for instance, Munster win. Then they've got to travel either to France or to probably a different region of South Africa. A different region of South Africa wouldn't be so bad, but traveling back to France in a week, I guess you'd have another side half by ready just in case, a few extra players available. Half time in this game, 17 points to 14 in favour of the home side, the Sharks. But what we're quickly going to do is we're going to go Champions 2023. We're going to see whether or not the website will tell us everything that we need to know. Oh, I've learned that it's 110 euros to go to the Heineken Champions Cup. Interesting. Currently, Toulon, I do see, are beating the Cheetahs in the Challenge Cup round of 16, 17 points to 0. And the Heineken Champions Cup, here. Go there. Yeah, so to be determined. Oh, no, fair play. It is next week. It's very quick turnaround. And then after that is going to be the 28th, 29th, and 30th of April. And Hale says, Flesh and welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. I saw that video that you did put into the, I can't remember what the group chat's name is, but I saw that one of the fella from Wales singing the national anthem in a group of French supporters. I did actually check out the Discord this week. I felt very hip, or this today. In fact, it was. And Sharks look like they're going to throw the game, says Albion. But Glove says Sebastian, and TJ Perenata is one of the most irritating players in World Rugby. Exactly right. Yep. Yeah. He doesn't make too many friends throughout his run, TJ Perenata. And wow, I tried this game on Flow on my phone, and it doesn't, or as I thought it was my computer, it doesn't work either. Flow Rugby, thanks for ripping me off, says Connor Cahill there. And to line up by 12 against the Chiefs, says Kerr. Should mention in this game so far, possession 58% in favour of the Sharks, 53% territory in favour of the home side Sharks as well. Interestingly enough, in the metres gained, 174 metres gained by the Sharks, 61 by Munster. Yet Munster still find themselves with the same amount of tries as the Sharks were able to get, which just means more than anything that Munster are kicking it deep into the Sharks 22, trying to keep them in there for the territory side of things. Even though Sharks have had 53% of the territory, I should really get on Discord, says Kerr there. You will get to see all of Junaid's memes that he does end up making. And yeah, Flow Sports video isn't working. And glad I found this. Thanks, says Dave. No worries at all. Hopefully the commentary, I mean, it won't quite be as good as being able to watch the game, but hopefully you're still getting a little bit of a picture of whereabouts they are on the field. And saying back to you, amigo, says Fleshin. Looking at the carries, we've seen 39 from the Sharks, 28 from Munster. So clean breaks 1-on-1, 5 offloads from Munster. And I believe about 3 of those would have been actually from RG Snyman. He's been trying to get rid of the ball every single time that he touches. There's too many trolls on Discord. It depends on the server that you're on. I've found that we're pretty good overall in terms of the trolls, but I think it's like all social media. If the wrong people get it, at the end of the day, they're still going to troll no matter what. The Griffins also got the balls. This is crazy. There's a roll off there. Yeah, I did see that. Getting themselves the upset victory. Did anyone get a chance to watch Brumbies versus Waratahs? High scoring game. That is for sure. Sia for man of the match. Says knowledge there. And also 19-0 at halftime at Toulon. Says Kerr. And it was the Rugby Geeks Discord. WWWRFU. I know it was something with RFU, but I wasn't sure how many W's were in front of it. I don't understand it at all. The other game's on work fine. Why isn't this one? Says Connor Cahill. I've seen 9 defenders beaten from the Sharks. Although, actually, on that statistics sheet, it says that Munster only scored 1 try. So we can't believe everything we see on those statistics. In fact, we'll try refreshing and see how much it changes. They had 61 metres gained. Now they have 61 meters gained. Okay, so it's a little bit behind by the looks of it, but we'll still roll with it. See what else we can find out in information. Currently, missed tackles 9 from Munster. Tackles 49, though, that they have been able to make. Hope Gareth is keeping calm. Says Fleshing in there. He was a little bit stressed earlier on in the match. I feel like he's feeling the same thing Sebastian's going to be feeling in the next match when it is Harlequins taking on the Stormers. Also, I should mention we are going to be covering the matchup between Leinster and Ulster. It is going to be a late night morning game for us here in New Zealand, but we are keen to see how that Irish derby ends up going. So we will be covering that one on the channel as long as the voice is still intact and the eyes are still open, I guess. And where is this being played? Is it in Europe? No, it is in South Africa. The Sharks have the home field advantage. Haven't really made the most of it as of yet. It's a beautiful afternoon. The sun is out. They'll be looking into the sun for the second half. So I wouldn't be surprised if Munster do a lot of kicks to that far side of the field. Try and get them looking straight up. Where is Bertie? He was on an earlier live stream. I believe it was the Fijian Drill versus Rebels. We saw him very briefly. And Leinster versus Ulster is on free-to-air TV here in Ireland, says Richard. And I'm so over the Sharks this season, I might just take a nap. Are you going to be back for the next one, Sebastian? But yeah, we haven't decided too heavily on Leinster Ulster as much as I want to cover that game. It is just more of the case of whether it's strategic for us to go to sleep then so that we can get a little bit more shut-eye before Sunday and Monday. And it's getting closer, but I'm not nervous at all. I have a lot of respect for the Stormers. May the best DHL team win, says Sebastian. And do you tick Munster? Or do you think Munster will come back in the match? They're only 3 points down. Like, first 5 minutes of the second half, I see them winning a penalty and then getting themselves back to 17-17. Like, I don't think it's going to be completely impossible for them in this contest. Is it going to be tough? Definitely. Are they going to have the ability to do it, though, up against a side that are at home? Yeah, they've got a pretty good side. And the Sharks are always so confident when they're playing at their home ground, says Knowledge, and Munster never go away, says Gareth. And what we will quickly do is we will show you guys the benches because, of course, we've seen already a few subs being made. We've seen Archer come on the field for Munster. We have also seen Grant Williams. He has come out onto the park. That is due to the injury of Jaden Hendrickson. Now, I hope it's nothing too serious for him. Carberry might be a good option later on for Munster. We haven't really seen too much wrong, though, from Jack Crowley, other than that kick into touch, other than that being pretty handy. John Hodnett, he's been playing very well at number 7, so it makes that question of who goes off the field for Jack O'Donoghue when he wants to make his way out onto the park. Also, they've got very big front row replacement, Kieran Van Veeren, Machuno, and also Carlos Sadi. They do decide to use them when we need to keep supporting the Sharks, guys. We cannot back up now. And this is the Sharks' only hope, though they put of the URC. Here's Cameron. I think I used to have a URC table somewhere, but it's a little bit behind. So maybe it's not the best one to be showing, but URC table, the last updated one that we had. Is that it? No, that's Super Rugby. There we go. I believe this was from last week of the URC, but it might have been actually at the start of the week. So as you can see, the Sharks sitting there somewhere around 8th. I'll quickly get an updated URC table, though, just to make sure that we're not a mile off. In that case, Sharks are currently sitting there on 41. Bulls, yep. Munster, yep. Glasgow, yep. Okay, the game that I was covering must have been Ulster taking on the Bulls, because the only change really is that Ulster are actually sitting on 59 points now rather than the 54. That is the only change from that table. I believe, yeah, they were the only teams who were playing catch-up. So as you can see, Stormers near the top of the bunch, Leinster near the top of the bunch. They both have games later on today in the URC. And then also Ulster sitting there in 4th. That's the thing. Depending on that Ulster-Leinster game, it may be the case if we do end up watching it. It is just watching it while also getting everything prepared for tomorrow's live stream. I'm still undecided, but I decided I'm better off scheduling it so that I have the option of doing it if I do want to. If we do have the vocal capacity to do so. On Tough Weekend of Rugby up here, I couldn't watch the Scarlets last night to rely on Grant Swartz doing your job, There's Fleshin. Does Grant Swartz do a bit of commentary? I didn't even realise. He's got a YouTube channel. I'll check him out. A moment. We'll go like that. Grant Swartz. Or was he doing it over maybe Discord? Is he the one with one subscriber? Who has funny videos from 2018? I don't think that's him. The one that I've gone on to here. I think I've gone down a rabbit hole of YouTube. And as I know on the Discord. And anyone else not able to view Flow Rugby? It seems like everyone who's trying to use Flow Rugby, it just has a black screen by the sounds of it, which is a real shame because at the end of the day, you're paying a decent amount of or not a decent amount of rugby, you're paying a decent amount of money to be able to watch a game. So for it not to work seems very annoying indeed. And also, which VPN you using? Says Cameron. And also, we have got their Flow Rugby is working just fine, says Cameron. The Sharks still in, says Roloff. They certainly are. And Flow only has the audio video not working, says Dave. You see, that's annoying. Like, at the end of the day, if you've got a live stream scheduled, like, even if they, yeah, it's annoying. It always annoys me when things don't quite work the way they should. It's like when we were going to do a game on Sky ages ago, and they had this game all scheduled on their, like, everything, and then they ended up playing a tennis match. There was no, like, special final. Like, it was a final or something, maybe, but, like, it was just a random game of tennis that they were like, we're going to do that rather than, I think that was actually the first Rainbow Cup final, I think it was, and Quinn's to home or to win. Are they home or away? They are away from home. So it's going to be played at Cape Town Stadium. Tough atmosphere, but the Harlequins, they've gone with a strong side in their lineup as well. Going to be doing a little bit of time traveling here in New Zealand for that matchup. Due to daylight saving, it means that we do start an hour earlier, and then not an hour earlier. You'll see on the live stream, we start at 2:55 a.m. New Zealand time. Then we transfer back to 1:55 a.m. New Zealand time. I gave up on all this stuff. Just throw my laptop through the window because why am I on Kiwi Lads? Because it works, says Roloff. That is true. We do a lot of live streams. And yeah, anyone who is new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I feel like that's a good plug, isn't it? We are going to have the sevens action tomorrow, including South Africa, when they do take on the Fijians. That will be a quarterfinal match. Unfortunately, that is at about maybe 3:40 a.m. South African time. That's a nice start for you guys. And then also we have got New Zealand versus Argentina. We've got previews for both of those matches going up on the channel in the morning. Been flat out with the previews. We have done about maybe 5 for the sevens. And was the Rebels bad or were the Drua just too good today? I think it was a mixture of both a little bit. Like the Drua had their real good moments, but then there were also moments where the Rebels, they definitely played better in the last 20 minutes or so. But it was probably the amount of work that they had to catch up with because of what happened in the first part of the match, how the Drua would just try after try after try. That is something that really cost them, I feel. So I think it was Rebels played bad for a start. Drua played bad for the finish. It's just the fact that Drua playing badly didn't cement to as many points as the Rebels playing badly. Our lineouts killed us. We knocked it on so many times. Yeah, there were a huge amount of knock-ons throughout that matchup. And the same could be said about the Blues-Chiefs game. I believe there were about 18 scrums in that match, which is a crazy number for a matchup. Okay, downloaded Discord or Discord downloaded, says Kerr. So I guess what we should do is send you a link to the Kiwi Lads Discord. We'll go create an invite. We'll go like that. And ladies and gentlemen, this isn't just open for Kerr. This is open for anyone who does want to hop on our Discord server. Pretty much on there, we have a few random memes that do come through, but also we do have, when I'm doing live streams, I will schedule them. And yes, she's fine, Gareth. See Xavier there. Are you so going down rabbit hole, Kerr? Oh, it depends. Kiwi Lads one's not too bad. We just pretty much have links to live streams and the occasional, like, hey, like, chat happened, or like this happened in the rugby or something like that. Like, that's normally the extent of the Discord. And I feel like I want to try and make it a little bit more than that at some point, but Junaid's going to help me out. He's going to show me how to do some fancy stuff on the old Discord server. Like that. And like that. There we go. Right. They're actually talking about making a couple changes here. Van Heerden actually out on the field, and I believe they actually said that was for Eben Etzebeth, if I'm not wrong. So that is a big change to make, and hopefully no injury for Eben, because I feel like that's the thing. Eben Etzebeth is the type of player to play through a half, even if he's got an injury, and then when they're just about to leave the changing sheds, be like, oh yeah, by the way, coach, my arm's like dangling like this, or maybe I shouldn't go on for the second half. Just seems like one of those players that he'd be like, oh yeah, arm's broken. I keep going though. Jaden Hendrickson, speaking of arm broken, he has got his arm in a sling at the moment. Hopefully nothing too serious, just maybe a dislocation or a sprain of some sort, or else he may end up finding himself missing the Rugby World Cup in France. Now we are almost ready to go for the second half. There's Eben. What's he looking like? He's looking like maybe leg injury. He's got a bag of ice. And looks like right leg, maybe groin or something to do with that right leg for Eben Etzebeth. Hopefully nothing too serious for him. Yeah, that looked like that step was a little bit tricky for him to get down. A big opportunity for this youngster, Van Heerden, in this matchup. At the end of the day, it's a Champions Cup fixture, the first ever time that the South Africans have made their way through to a round of 16. RG Snyman now making his way out onto the field, ready to go. He had a pretty good first half overall, was trying to offload every opportunity that he did get. The Munster supporters well and truly in attendance for this matchup. They know that the game's long from over, though. Sad for Reece missing the World Cup. Yeah, it's a shame. And I've said this on I think it was the last live stream as well, that, to be honest, now that he is injured, it's a big shame for Sevu Reece. It now opens up the door for another player. And to be honest, I think that other player, for me, is probably Sean Stevenson, which I don't know if it's in a popular opinion or not, but I think he's worked hard enough and is in good enough form that he could take that right wing spot, unless they decide to go with Whainā Nuku perhaps on that right wing side. But I think you can only go with either one of him or Caleb Clark. I think they probably can't go with both. Now, Munster already in possession after a mistake from the Sharks early. Nice stepping from Jack Crowley. Ball at the back again. And Heerden having a bit of a nervous moment there where his pants got pulled down, so he had to make sure they were back up for trying to attempt the tackle. Craig Casey. Back across again. Big shot on Stephen Archer. Tackled by Van Heerden. Now off to the right-hand side. RG Snyman just manages to find an offload no matter what, doesn't he? He kind of reminds me of the Sonny Bill Williams kind of forward pack version, I guess you could say. Now Gavin Coombs receives the offload there. Kilcoyne. Munster doing well here. No clean out though. Oh, his hands are down all over the ground there. Oh, Vincent Tachuka, which is why he wasn't able to get the turnover. Now Niall Scannell drops to the ground. Oh, ball stripped from him straight away that time. I believe Vincent Tachuka managed to get it right. In fact, it's Oxner Share who managed to get in there. Caleb brings a lot of physicality. He does, but we also saw from the game today and a few of the other games that he does have physicality, but at times when his hands aren't catching the ball, he can become not just physicality, but liability in defense. That sounded harsh, but that kind of had a flow off the tongue. I just came up with that on the spot. I won't pat myself on the back, but yeah, wasn't bad. So they're just going to make sure that if they're going to go with him and Leicester Whainā Nuku, they've got to work out exactly what they want to do in terms of their tactics, because having two big men like that out there on the field, it's risky, but it can also lead to its rewards. One of the commentators nicknamed Clark as the big man. He looks so small, says Roloff. I mean, he's probably small compared to someone like an Eben Etzebeth or someone like that. Like, he's a relatively big boy. And maybe because his father, Ronnie Clark, he was quite a large rugby player, big, solid-looking bloke. When he was out there now rolling forward nicely, Grant Williams trying to get this ball at the back of the rolling maul, and he's actually ended up now on the Munster side. The penalty goes the way of the Sharks, though. Okay, so it was all right where he came from, but then he wasn't allowed to collapse, as they've said. The Diaramundi has said there. I just started watching this on KO, and I just realized has only started from the second half. We're broadcasting rights on Foxtel. Yeah, someone was saying that they start an hour late on KO, but starting an hour late for a rugby game is like turning up at a restaurant just for dessert. It feels like a weird time to show up. Like, yes, you're going to get some of the best part, but sometimes you want that main course and kind of that entree beforehand rather than just chucking in and going, right, I'll have the cheesecake, thanks. Cheesecake's quite good, to be fair. Like if someone invited me out for a meal and I just showed up for the dessert and they had cheesecake, I'd still be relatively happy. Lomu was physical, but he was a liability on defense as well. 50-50 on Clark, depends the game plan they want to play, says Cameron. Because we have seen that Mark Talier's defense has been exposed recently in a couple of the games of Super Rugby. He doesn't quite seem to be going as well as he was earlier on. Right, slip the bind, and at the side, penalty against Munster. The Sharks will get themselves another. And we will take Lomu any day. He did not score one try against the Box in his entire career, says Roloff. He started an hour late. They only have the second half, which is weird, says the Diaramandi. So you wonder how do they manage that? Is it because, no, KO's not even like program based, having different starting like times for programs, is it? Like it's just literally you click on the sport you want to watch and it should be there. So it's interesting. All Sharks getting close to the line here. Off the Pepungi. Umbanumbi scores the try for the Sharks. And 45 minutes in now, the Sharks managed to get themselves another. He kind of fell awkwardly over the top. Flow Rugby working for me now. Have it on the TV and you on my phone, says Dave. I appreciate you sticking around, mate, even though you are now able to see the game. Bongi Umbanumbi's ended up with a bottle up his chest and getting stretched out big time by his teammates. That sounds dodgy as. But he may have taken a little bit of a knock in the process of scoring off that rolling maul. Yeah, I guess thing with this channel is some people who are watching can't see the game. Others can see the game, but just choose to pop on for a bit of a chat about the rugby as it's taken place. So I feel like we've got a good combination of best of both worlds type thing. Yeah, he fell awkwardly, Bongi Umbanumbi. He ended up actually going over the top of one of the players' knees for Munster. 22 points to 18, or sorry, 22 points to 14. Currently sitting with an 8-point difference between these two sides. Bosch Sweden bricks at the moment. It is hot in South Africa. By the looks of it, we saw the game earlier on in Suva for Super Rugby. That was sitting at about 29 degrees. And KO is Foxtel's sporting streaming app, so they don't need to manage fitting it into a schedule. Yeah, so it's so weird. Like, if you're going to start it an hour later, I would have thought starting an hour later, but starting from the first half would be the logical thing to do. Rather than like being like, hey, we'll pick up from live and act like the first half didn't exist. Just correct me if I'm wrong. These Rugby Championship and URC and top 14 semis and finals interfere with the Rugby Championship, says Cameron. Well, the Champions Cup for the first one. Champions Cup finals take place 20th of May, so they do not overlap. The URC for their matches, I'll just load the later rounds. Week 18's on the 23rd, so that will not overlap. What are the other ones? Top 14 semis, I believe, also don't overlap. Unless, of course, they've drastically changed the Rugby Championship schedule. I know that the Bledisloe has taken place, though, in late July, early August. Watch the games. Have you as my main commentary, but still have the game on in case you need to hear the TMO. That's strategic and smart as well. Because, like, that's the thing. When we watch the game in the lounge on mute, watching it on the TV, when there's anything TMO related, you just don't really know what's happening. But because our headphone or because our TV doesn't have an audio jack, unfortunately, like it's a smart TV, it's got all the fancy stuff. Like, I don't know, YouTube, is that fancy for a TV? I guess for me, it seems quite fancy. It's got that. So that works well. But yeah, it doesn't have a headphone jack. And just hit the subscribe button. I got 6 games to catch up on 8:40 a.m. here in the new USA, says Robert. Oh, so you've got a full day of rugby ahead of you, plus some sevens later on. USA going to be taking on, I believe they are playing Great Britain in the quarterfinals of the sevens in Hong Kong. Moving on to face the winner of Fiji versus South Africa, I believe. And KO blocks VPNs, so you can't watch outside Australia, says Schlanger. Sharks ending up with the ball again, 15 metres out from the line. Williams goes back to Makazole Mapimpi. Sia Kolisi look for the offload. They might try and call that a deliberate knockdown. It's going to be just a knock on, though. And the penalty, comes a penalty to the Sharks. Got the Chamberlain a little bit fired up there, having a bit of a swear at Haley, who's just smiling at him. But it's always funny when you look at that, when one angry player is looking at one who's just having a great time. You listen to commentary while you broadcast, H. Not hugely, like I have it on very quiet, which is why every once in a while, you guys will see me sitting here kind of going like this. And it's not me like being weird. It's just me like listening to the TMO because I've got it maybe like, I don't know what you call it, maybe like about a tenth of the regular volume. You'd listen to it in headphones just so that I can hear myself talking, but also just so that I don't get too confused about what they're saying. And I also don't want to be repeating what commentary they do, just because I feel like if that's the case, then you could watch a radio broadcast of it. So I want to have it unique. That's actually going to be now Van Heerden. He's going off the field. He made his debut, or he had his big opportunity, and now he's been taken off the field. So he is being replaced by Pepsi Buthelezi. I'll be very disappointed with that. This is not how I expected this game to go, says Kerr. Although, if it was in Munster, maybe completely different story. Of course, these games, home field advantage is going to be absolutely massive for the teams. And also, this is the first of 5 games I'm going to be watching today, says Richard. Broken arm, says Schlanger. Either that or dislocated shoulder. We've seen that a bit. I believe that's actually, I think Cullen Grace hurt that shoulder after getting it slightly wrong, after just healing from a rolling maul. Bongio Manambi over the try line, and that will be his second of the match. They're starting to run away with it now, the Sharks. So down 29 points to 14. Any illegal streams? Hard to find them nowadays. Like, I know that in the past, people have said recommendations, but a lot of those ones end up either getting taken down or you end up with a virus from them. But I can mention, Philip, in about 30 minutes' time on the European Champions Cup YouTube channel. In fact, what I will do is I'll give you that link now for everyone who is in the chat. Champions Cup 2023, Heineken's Champions Cup and URC, or not quite URC, but here we go. Go like this and go like this. So this is the link for where you can watch the highlights pretty much straight after the game is finished. So I would highly recommend checking those out. That way you get to see a little bit of the action. Now, I know it's not the full match, and I know it's not like the best way of watching it, but if you just want to see some highlights, they're normally about 7 minutes or so, somewhere around there, and you'll at least get to see some action of this matchup. And also, we have got the win last. Did I watch a game? Sharks won at last, says Roloff. Now, coming in from Kerwin Bosch, I don't think the South African teams will win this because soon the Box and the Sharks will be rested due to South Africa rugby union policy in the World Cup year, says Cameron. And we can chill now, Gareth, says Fleshin. And how come there is no crowd? I thought this would be a salad in South Africa. I mean, it's not as many in attendance as they would have liked for this game. That one's actually almost clipped both posts, I believe, from Kerwin Bosch. Keeps the difference at 15, 29 points to 14. But yeah, I would have thought it would be quite a large spectacle as well. But maybe with it being a Saturday afternoon game at only about 1 p.m., when you think about it, maybe the youngsters rugby has started up, or cricket season, something like that. That may be why you've got quite a few young players, or sorry, not young players, but young like people in the crowd not in attendance. Philip Doyle, they're still out there, but you have to use Firefox, not Chrome. Hi there. What do you think about the fact that Spain managed to edge Australia going through the cup quarters in the sevens? Massive for the Spanish. I'm looking forward to their game up against the French because I feel that Spain have got the potential of beating France. That's a nice inside ball from Lucanio Arm, just going straight through. This is looking bad now for Munster. The pass was wonky, though. That could have been a third try in the last about 7 minutes. And image tickets are expensive. That is also another side of it, which they need to get right, because I remember Cape Town sevens and actually the Hamilton sevens as well, because there were a lot of problems in terms of prices of tickets. Connor Murray, I should also mention, on the field due to Craig Casey coming off. Pepsi Buthelezi taking it nicely. He is tackled by Shane Daly, one of the Munster try scorers. Open the link and first audio is Andre Pollard. There's the Roloff there. And also, Hamish, I presume that you have no vested interest in this competition. So on which team is your money to take the competition or take the championship, says Peter Williams? I mean, I would say vested interest in a certain team, but a lot of interest in the URC, or sorry, not the URC, the Champions Cup competition. We covered it last year on the channel, and we are planning on covering a majority of the games this year. Looking through at the last 16, I've got a little picture here. To be honest, looking no further than literally that first side that I see right up here, Leinster, they're going to be a tough side. Unless Ulster manage to cause the upset today, then I would say it becomes about 3 or 4 sides with a good opportunity of winning it. But the home advantage is massive for these games. We've seen it time and time again become evident in the URC. To lose, they are a side that if they get themselves a win and they can continue having home games a little bit further, that will help them drastically as well. And now Oxneshire gives it back across to Makazole Mapimpi. Ball on the outside, Noshe forward pass to Biota Chamberlain. They are going to say play on. In fact, they're going to give the advantage to the Sharks. Their offload from Makazole Mapimpi. Finding a good one. Verna Cox stepping around, and it's another try for the Sharks. Second half, the floodgates have opened well and truly up, which I guess is beneficial because Sharks like water. But they've been on fire. What was the score at halftime? 17 points to 14. Now they're sitting 34-14 up. A reserve bank just pushed up interest, right? So it's cheaper to stream than to go or stream that, then go to buy the ticket because driving to the stadium petrol is expensive in South Africa. Looking forward to the Jacks game. Says flashing in there. And also we have got the Sunday Super Rugby tomorrow. Yes. Says Nichols. But I should mention there is another game taking place at the moment in the Challenge Cup, and that is the game between Toulon and the South African Cheetahs side. Toulon, in fact, they have won the game. It's the end of that match. I believe it must have started at 12, I would assume, unless there's still some time in the match. We'll just quickly check on that. They still playing? No, they are still playing. A little bit longer in that matchup, but it does seem like Toulon will be the side who walk away with the victory there. Kuon Bosch now about to go for the kick at the post. Hit it all right there. And that will be the end. Sorry, not the end. That will be 2 more points on the board. Has Robinson picked his assistants yet? I don't believe so. The Ospreys, says Fleshin. I got that wrong, didn't I? I actually thought you were referring to the MLR. But isn't it the England Free Jacks or something like that? I was like, oh, Fleshin watching the MLR as well. But no. European Champions Cup. They are going to be playing. Where do they play? They've got their game up against Saracens, do they? Yeah, Saracens versus Ospreys. That's going to be on tomorrow night. We have to keep you updated with that one. I believe we are going to be doing Toulouse versus the Bulls. That game is going to be starting at 4 a.m. No, sorry, 2 a.m. New Zealand time. Finishing at 4 a.m. or so. I'll be getting up at about 10, going to work for a full day, sleeping, then going and starting a new job on Tuesday. Maybe, if the contract gets signed. I haven't been sent the contract yet. Got to make sure that I know what I'm actually doing there. Some of you guys will know I went bowling with my cricket team, got offered a job, and then now I have no idea what said job is, but they are very keen to hire me. I believe it's going to be something to do with, first of all, being, I assume, an assistant there, but also alongside that, they want me to do the social media kind of marketing management of their business. And it's like, well, I just do YouTube, so I have no idea how to do that. Might be joining the Aussie Army. See Xavier, and I can't see Munster coming back into this. Yeah, it looks a little bit tricky. Well, I mean, no sleeps for you, says Robert. Just like usual. I guess you could say, well, congrats, Hamish, on the job. That's the thing. It's very confusing because I didn't apply for it. I didn't give a CV for it. They didn't even know that I worked at a supermarket for a few years. Does that mean we won't see a lot of you streaming? No, still streaming the same amount of time. Boss has been, well, the new boss that might be, very lenient. He said, keep on doing your YouTube. So pretty much it would be Tuesday to Thursday that I will be working there. And then probably outside of that, working from home, doing any sort of random marketing stuff. Go on the Sharks, says Gareth. But yeah, still the same amount of live streams. We're not going anywhere over the weekends. It just means that we will probably end up uh just, I guess, slightly less videos on a Tuesday. But we don't do videos on a Tuesday anyway, so we're all good. Ospreys, our next door rivals. So I'm looking forward to the one-sided game. What job is this? And congrats, says Nov Mum. So it's a bit of a hybrid because it's working at a bowling alley, kind of running a certain area of it, which involves there's got like dart. Oh, great run from Kerwin Bosch. They've got darts, they've got an arcade and everything like that. So running that side of things, that's going to be another try. Kerwin Bosch in the corner scores the try. The last thing you want to do, though, is hurt yourself in the dive. You may be fired up, but save it for the World Cup. But another try. Sharks now moving up to 41. But yeah, and then also alongside that, doing the kind of social media management for them. And I guess I don't even know what it's going to be called, but kind of like the marketing management stuff. I don't know what it is. I haven't signed a contract yet. I don't even know what I'm doing. But then, okay, well, until YouTube starts paying you the big bucks, you got to have a job, says Cameron. So yeah, I'm going to be working 2 during the weeks now. I'm going to be working with my dad in construction. We're going to be pouring a massive concrete slab. So that is going to be kind of the morning, and then afternoon I go down south, travel for 30 minutes driving, go to work, travel back 30 minutes, and then do it all again. And then also do YouTube on the side. So she's bloody good. Very busy. I feel like that's a good way to be, though. You want to be busy. You want to be keeping occupied. Should be good. Like they've said, Munsters have 53% of the possession here, but Sharks just runaway try after runaway try at the moment. And also Ospreys, our next door rival, so I'm looking forward to a one-sided game. Says Fleshin. And also they come on the Sharks. Are you studying as well? I am not studying at the moment, but yeah, I don't know whether I'd have time to. Are you going to be polishing balls? I did polish some balls the other day, and tell you what, they were bloody shiny. I also learned how to actually bowl kind of decently from one, because we got to test out the alleys. That was kind of fun. Just got to whip balls down there. And PR and marketing director sounds like a reasonable title. You know what? I'm going to star that, Kerr, because that kind of sounds like possibly what I'm supposed to be doing. And also, we have got to work smart. Aim successful people are really busy. So that makes sense of why I'm very busy then, doesn't it? And Toulon are 31 and Cheetahs are 12. So you have Richard, and we'll grind out now rather than instead. When you're 50, a university degree is overrated. And surely if we come past, we get free entry. Maybe. I mean, I think I get almost free bowling. They're nice. Well, tell you what, the Bulls, no, they're Munster. Sorry, got them confused. Oh, I'm back off. Because of the animals, isn't it? They got the antlers, whereas the Bulls have got the horns. That's going to be stolen by the Sharks, but going back for another penalty. Although you would have to come to New Zealand first, Xavier, to be able to do so. It's going to be offside against Vern the Cock. Gets the high five from his teammate because he probably saved a try by being offside there. Now this game's sitting a lot more one-sided than a few people would have been expecting. So you might be asking the question, so who do the Sharks play next? They win this game. They will be taking on the winner of Toulouse or the Bulls. So there could be a South African derby coming up for a quarter-final match. That would be an absolutely huge game. Will Sharks face Toulon or the Bulls? Says Cameron, or Toulouse. Toulouse will be the other one rather than Toulon. It's going to be tricky. I mean, the Bulls, I believe, are they at home or are they away from home? They're away from home. It's going to be happening in France, so that's going to be a tough game for the Bulls. Could mean that Toulouse do get themselves over the line there. Need to look at which of my ships are in New Zealand so I can get free bowling. Surely getting a ship over here would cost more than free bowling, but I'm sure I'll be able to hook you up with a couple other things while you're here. That's going to be nicely done. Easy rolling maul try for the Sharks, for the Munster side, more specifically South Island. Glad to hear you helping to keep the wheel working, says Fleshin. But yeah, it's quite funny the way it came about because I just didn't apply. Like, we were down there for the cricket breakup. And the lady, she went away so that she could do something with one of the machines. So she was like, "Do you just want to type the names?" And so I typed the names in of our teammates, and then she was like, "You want a job?" And I was like, "What?" No, I didn't say what. I said, "Hmm?" And then she was like, "You want a job?" Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. I do." I mentioned about how I had the YouTube channel, so I had to make sure that I could balance that. And then I had an interview like 2 days later, and I didn't bring my CV because I didn't even realize that they wanted it, which I should have known. But he was like, "Nah, it's all good. You don't need your CV. We see from your YouTube channel that you are a hard worker." And then, yeah, they said that I'd have more of a chance of getting it because I do YouTube. So that's kind of weird, ladies and gentlemen. So if you're keen on doing some YouTube, might help you with a job in the future. And also, we have got there, where the hell has this Sharks team been all season? Says Gareth to lose it is. Then says Cameron, looks likely. Feel the same. Gareth says Roloff. Got a couple ships already there. Didn't you say you saw one a couple weeks back? I did. Thank you, lad. Sponsored by, says Kerr. Well, that's the thing. We might have a couple of videos from a bowling alley coming up in the near future, whether that is another bowling vlog or whether it is something more out there and exciting. 70% or 75% of jobs not advertised. See, Ed seems to be a smart man. What do you do for work, Ed? I feel like you're going to be like, I don't know, what's a smart like job that someone's done like, because you've done well. Maybe you can live stream from a bowling alley. I actually mentioned that and he was like, yeah, you could if you like. So that would be a fun one. Us four having a bowling alley vlog slash probably actually, yeah, live stream. Are they American owned? Probably the owner said, I'm going to fire all your asses. Bowling commentary, says Gareth. I don't know whether bowling has commentary that I could do effectively. Oh, great run forward from Mike Haley, mainly because after a while, but then if we're allowed to show it, I guess it would work. I still have to work out whether or not I have the job. He said he was going to send through a contract, but he had to talk to his wife to work out what my wage is for a job that I'm doing that isn't specified. Makazole Mapimpi, another try. Sharks are going to bring up the 50. Hasn't had the best game overall, Makazole Mapimpi, but gets himself some points on the board. And also, we have got there, I'm launching my gaming channel again. We'll give YouTube thing another go, says Cameron. And if anything, it's just good practice in general. Like for whether it's speaking to a camera or whether it's like practicing editing, practicing designing or anything like that, whether that is your thumbnails or just having something to look back in or back on in 5 years' time, you have to demand at least $70 an hour. I think if I demanded $70 an hour, he might not hire me. I would say might be a bit high for the wage. I was like, Black Ferns versus Canada quarterfinal, says Knob Mum. I saw that the women's quarterfinals are all taking place at these late night hours, aren't they? We'll go like this. We'll go like this. Great work from Makazole Mapimpi, though. Get himself another try in this match. And well, we weren't, or they weren't in last week. Sorry, mate, couldn't resist. Says Fleshin. I read that very well, didn't I, Fleshin? Got the tongue in the right place. Did Fiji win up against? They did. Fiji women and managed to get themselves the victory over the USA. They'll be playing tomorrow in the women's semi-final game at 7:06 p.m. New Zealand time. So we will more than likely be covering that one. I believe that might be up against New Zealand. Are you commenting on the game or not, says Kitty? We're doing a little bit of both. We're doing a bit of unorthodox stuff. But at the moment, we're just seeing Sharks try after Sharks try. That was a try from Makazole Mapimpi. So we had to wait for a minute before kickoff. But it is now back underway for yourself here, Kitty, or Chitty, or whatever you go by. City? I don't know what you'd have it as for that one. It's kind of like Eddie with a C. Eddie. Yeah, well, $70 an hour. Geez, I will take that. And what would the job pay? 80K? I have no idea. I don't even know what I'm doing for the job. Kicked into touch. Yeah. 15 minutes remaining in this contest. As your channel analytics, what's your click-through rate, Hamish? I actually, believe it or not, this is probably really bad, but I don't actually look at much of the analytics at all in terms of click-through rates or anything like that. I probably should, but I don't really look through too much. I think George looks at more of that. Connor Murray going back across now. Crowley. Now Malakai Fekatoa looping around. Lukanyuam taken down on the halfway line. Connor Murray now going back across, driven backwards in the tackle there. Placement lock. Crowley goes in behind looking for a 50-22, although it was taken back, so I believe this wouldn't count. But it's going to get very close. Oh, he just runs it out, Kerwin Bosch, so it is going to count. And also, we have got there, Jesus Christ, Munster just throwing the towel. You've already inflicted enough damage to yourselves. And stupid unnecessary passing in the midfield, says Connor there. And the Irish ladies are up against the France ladies, and the Scottish ladies are up against the Welsh ladies, says Richard. Fake it till you make it, funnily enough. It seems to be the Sharks' motto as well, and it's turning out pretty good for them tonight. Does George have access to your channel? Could be delete it right now. Could he delete it right now if he wanted to? He looks through at the Kiwi Lads Entertainment, but he knows how to get into the account. So I guess he could if he really wanted to, but then he wouldn't have anywhere to really do live streams or anything, I guess. So I feel like it would be shooting himself in the own foot. And also, but your channel has come a long way. I think when I subbed, it was like 7K subs, says Cameron. Yeah, we've been growing at a rapid rate, which we certainly did not expect. Now into the pocket, Chamberlain kicks this one into touch. Who is your favourite South African team, says Regan. It's hard to pick a favourite side, but I probably would go with Stormers if I had to pick one, just because I probably like their kit the best and do like more of their players than some of the other sides in terms of like overall names, I guess you could say. But I do like them all. Bjorta Chamberlain looks like he has hurt himself. He's done a groin. You see by the way that he's walking. I remember that walk. That's how I walked when I buggered mine in cricket. So, yeah, he's not feeling too flash yet. They've left him on the field at the moment. He's going to have to try and defend. Going to try and run it off. Oh, stepping around. Another try. Mike Haley gets the try for Munster. It's just become a case of both teams just want to attack, and then both teams are allowing the other team to score just so that they can go back to halfway. And also wonder who's more frustrated by this, Munster fans or Sharks fans, says Gareth. Yeah, it's a weird game now, isn't it? And also we have got their sup chicken butt, says Amelia. Welcome in. And also get your tongue behind your upper teeth and spit. And you get the hang of Welsh. Haley did well. Like they've said, Bjorta Chamberlain unable to quite get where he needed to. I'm on a more spiritual path, Hamish. Reckon the arse is about to fall out of the money debt system, says Ed in there. The money debt system. Right. I see. Nobody says Bulls. Even Bulls fans don't like the Bulls fans. Says Kerr, that kick is successful. Now 50 points to 28. Compared to the Edinburgh versus Leicester game, this is very different. Edinburgh versus Leicester yesterday, I believe, only had about maybe 20-something points scored. What do we end up with in that last game? 16 points to 6. So 22 points scored. And then we've got this game, which has had a total of 78 points scored. Like I Fikatoa, still smashing it out. Sharks looking sharp. Says lose Nate there. All right, 10 minutes remaining. I think we're going to see another 3 tries the way that this game has been going. But the next game that we are covering, ladies and gentlemen, will be Stormers taking on the... Oh, it's going to be knocked on again. That is going to be taking on the Harlequins. Yeah, man. Can't keep on fooling it itself to working for much longer. I'm getting Rugby Challenge 4 on Tuesday. Can't wait. And Hamish, do you have the Cricket Game 2022? Cricket 22, I do have. Yep. I haven't played it much at all. I think I've played it about 3 times, and I actually bought it the day it came out. Yeah, I've only played it a few times, but I think I've got it on Xbox One, but not on PC. Never trust anybody named Seth. I guess you don't trust... Who's a Seth that I know? Seth Rogan? Don't trust him. Oh, it's a big knock on from the Sharks. Back into the hands of Munster. They're just going to try and run this. That seems to be the way that both sides are playing. Just looking for offloads. Keep the ball alive. O'Donoghue does end up knocking the ball on. It's a PC game in the version, or in rugby version of Football Manager, says Amelia. Oh, it looks like a bit of an injury here for Munster's number 18, the tight air prop. Now, 9 minutes remaining. 7 tries from the Sharks, 4 from Munster. You know Seth Rogan? I do. He's in some movies, isn't he? Blood on the Head. I could probably name, like, tell you what, if you, like, were like, hey, you've got to name 5 Seth Rogen movies or else, like, you fall off a chair, weird example, but I don't know whether or not I could find 5 movies in my head to not have me fall off that chair with Seth Rogen in them. I tried to think, but I think I got like 2 if I'm lucky. And also, we have got there, Gareth. I say nobody will be happy with this, says Sean. And also, as doesn't have real players or players like Edvan Iselet. We should play some online games, though. We should. We do get a chance to, because are you in New Zealand, Cameron, or are you in South Africa? Or maybe neither of the two? We're about, say, in the world, just working out time zones is all. 9.5 minutes remain. The Sharks, they will have themselves a penalty, I believe. Or in fact, no, they will go back for the scrum. It looks like Wayne Barnes just having quite a long, in-depth chat with Niall Scannell talking about the scrums. Kane Williamson badly injured in the first match yesterday of the IPL. Yeah, not good for Kane Williamson, that is for sure. Not good for the Kiwis, depending on when he comes back. I'm in Cape Town, South Africa. I'm pretty sure because of licensing, there's a bunch of made-up names. This is merely okay. And that's the thing. Licensing for rugby games are expensive. Like, if you look at the amount that Rugby Challenge had to spend to get the All Blacks and then the additional amount that they had to spend to get the haka, like, yeah, she's a big number. I was not expecting 50 points. I'm a Leinster fan. This is worse than Munster got against Glasgow, says Sean O'Farrell. A ball going to be fed in. Grant Williams. Oh, free kick going the way of the Sharks. They consider going for the quick tap. Now I think they're going to go for a little bit more of a slow approach. We're down on the clock. Not risk any injuries. They've already lost Etzebeth van Heerden and also Jaden Hendrickse. Maybe Bjorta Chamberlain as well. So they've lost like 4 players in this match. They don't want to lose any more, that is for sure. Yeah, the next game that we are covering on the channel, ladies and gentlemen, will be the matchup taking place between the Harlequins and the Stormers. It is another game taking place in South Africa. Should be very entertaining. So anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. A big push from the Sharks. Oh, drop ball. I believe it was by Ben Tupawai. Now it's dropped by Munster as well. It's loose, and it is now going to be a scrum feed for Munster this time. And come on to Sharkies, silence the Irish. I'm getting a PS4 in a few weeks. I've already got an old copy of Rugby Challenge 4 and Rugby Challenge 3. Now all I've got to do is figure out how the heck I stream it on my PlayStation to my MacBook. I know there is a way. In fact, there might even be a way to just do it directly from the PlayStation before getting it to the MacBook, but I assume you want to do it maybe through StreamYard. Maybe. Is Etzebeth injured? Yeah, he ended up with some sort of right leg injury, I believe it was. And Queensland Stormers, may the best team win. Says Nate. Yeah, it's going to be an entertaining game. Marcus Smith going head-to-head with Damien Valenza, Mani Lebock. Yeah, there's a lot of good players playing in that game. It's going to be in South Africa as well. Now going back across to the right-hand side, run from Joey Carberry, 50 metres out. Now Jean Klein. Oh, piercing around the side there. Gavin Coombs, because StreamYard is my go-to. Says Amelia. Now short ball. Oh, he's straight through here. It's going to be John Hodnett back in his space. Tell you what, he's had a fantastic game, John Hodnett. If Munster won, I'd give him probably man of the match. But because they haven't, I feel like one of the Sharks players definitely will end up getting it in the end. And I mean, someone like, it's hard to tell who they'd actually give it to for man of the match. Well, the Sharks, but now Munster, ball out wide. Haley chips it back on the inside. Looked like no one was on the same wavelength, though, and the ball does go out. I don't trust StreamYard, to be honest. There's Schlanger, like as in to use or just in general? Do you know Joe Nalfahu? No. Oh, did I? Joan, no. I don't. And Marcus Smith to fire up the Quins of the World Cup. Main glory in rugby for every team. Yeah, every team wants to win that Rugby World Cup, of course. For Europe, when the World Cup's not on, that Six Nations. Normally what they do go for the Southern Hemisphere, it's the Rugby Championship. And because of StreamYard, I'm now going to be able to record my Rugby Manager 4 series I got planned. Says Amelia. Which boxer injured in this game? So far, Jaden Hendrickse and Eben Etzebeth. 2 injuries, but we're not sure for how long they are going to be out for. holding it. Going across to Carberry. Munster, they wouldn't mind getting another try on the board. Of course, another 3 would get them back towards a draw, but it'd be very unlikely seeing as they do need 22 points and they've just thrown the ball straight into touch. Makazole Mapimpi considered going for the quick throw. Doesn't in the end. I'm just going to very quickly check this and go like this. I want to see whether or not it thinks that we're live streaming in... Okay, perfect. It thinks that we're live streaming at the time we're live streaming. So we will be live at the right time. That is good news. And then we are going to time travel on stream, ladies and gentlemen. Plays for King's College, then moved to UK. Played for Glasgow, then retired from rugby and was in Game of Thrones. I did not know that. Joe Nafahu. It doesn't ring a bell, the name, but maybe if I saw him, I might be able to kind of go, oh, yeah, maybe. Now Ben Tapawai, 45 metres out from their line here, the Sharks. I think at this stage, everyone has determined there's a team that's going to win this game. But, yeah, at this stage, it's not Munster. StreamYard is owned by TikTok. They are stealing your data, says Schlanger. That's why you can select certain parts of the cookies and whatnot, and also in the settings to fix that. Now nicely done. Once again, going off to the left-hand side. Big shot on Joey Carberry. Malakai Fekatoa moving up to the halfway line. This guy, those guys will probably miss the route. Oh, I don't know about Etzebeth. I feel like he will be back. Hendrickse had his arm in a sling, but he might be back relatively soon as well. I was just thinking of rugby players who went to film, says Kerr. Oh, that's gone off the hand. It's going to be play on, but it is going to be Munster. We do get the penalty now as Notchia did end up picking the ball up. I'll most likely end up purchasing most of the DLCs for the sake of it. Once Super Rugby is done, I'll do an international career mode because I'm pretty sure it's got an international career mode. Amelia. And are you using OBS same as on your PC? I do have OBS normally for the gaming side of things. But like if we're doing a gaming live stream, but other than that, I either use my Elgato streaming software if I'm doing gaming with George, or if we are doing these live streams, I just use StreamYard. The other one. And also, you guys have daylight saving? Yeah, so pretty much at 3 a.m., so in 43 minutes time, we then turn the clocks back an hour. So we go from 3 a.m. to 2 a.m., which does mean theoretically I get an extra hour's sleep tonight. Good news for me. And cheers, guys. Take a later, says Gareth. See you later, mate. You'll be happy with the win, I would think. You should do another Rugby Challenge 4 be a pro again. The only problem with that is when you get to the World Cup, it doesn't let you play in it. And they just pretty much simulate the whole World Cup to stop you from actually getting the chance. Munster over the line. Another try here off the rolling ball. That puts the tally of tries up to 12 in this match. And Martin Bayfield, another, was famously stunt double for Hagrid and Harry Potter. But yeah, you get to the certain point on the Rugby World Cup. I remember we were all excited for it when we were doing the live streams each and every week for Be a Pro. And then we got to the World Cup and it cancelled us out and pretty much said, World Cup's over, you lost, unlucky. And this is a very high-scoring game. I think Sharks might just win, says another mum. We should do some online gaming, says Cameron. 2 minutes remaining. Crawley once again gets a kick over. He's had a pretty good game. Like I mentioned, he kicked the ball into touch once earlier on. But other than that, it's been relatively strong. 35 points to 50 now. This game sits. We're getting closer and closer to the 100. I don't think we'll get there, though. We've only got maybe one more try in the tank for one of these two sides. Sharks just walking up to halfway. They do not look like a side who have won this game. I think they're just exhausted. Slowly having a trot up there. So in 24 years, you lose an entire day. Don't understand. It says roll off. Not quite. So pretty much during daylight savings, you go back an hour. Or after daylight savings, you go back an hour. And then at the start of daylight savings, you go forward an hour. So pretty much you go back an hour, then forward an hour about maybe 5 months later or something like that. So you do actually end up getting that hour back. It's just due to the way that the sun is in New Zealand. Oh, almost intercepted by Werner Koch. Doesn't quite grab it. They're going to say that there was no knock on. So it's going to be play on now. Beautiful offload. Here comes hodding it. Oh, 45 meters out. Joey Carberry. Now a little short pass. Not quite. Oh, I just slapped it back into the face of Rubala. Now 30 seconds remaining. The Sharks, they're playing advantage. Makazoli Mapimpi goes back to Fakir Abrahams, who's had hardly any time out there on the field. This contest feels like Super Rugby version of the Champions Cup for Sean O'Farrell. Going to be, just tapped into touch by Crowley. Frustrating watching this if you're a Munster man, and defence has been shocking in this game, says Schlanger. Yeah, both sides conceding 5 or more tries. It must have been a fantastic entertainment for the fans, says Brian. And they're arriving late, my lord. That's a high-scoring game, 85 points. I always felt the Sharks would be too strong for Munster, who are off the boil a bit this season, says Brian. Right, the Sharks, once again, they will wind down the clock here. Munster are ready. Sharks are dawdling up to be able to take this line out throw. And at the end of the day, they can. They've got themselves a good lead on the board. Throw that ball in. Nicely taken by the Sharks. I believe they will now get this ball out the back for Grant Williams, and he will kick it into touch. That'll be the end of the game, and it is going to be the win for the Sharks, 50 points to 35 in the end. So the Sharks victorious in this match. They will move on to face either Toulouse or the Bulls. We'll find out in the game tomorrow night. But thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got about 35 minutes until our next live stream on the channel, which is Harlequins taking on these Stormers. But thank you all very much for being here. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Reminds myself to change the clock an hour back. Yeah, I didn't even realize daylight saving was happening. I thought that Harlequins and Stormers game was overlapping with this one, because I saw one was starting at 12:30, one was starting at 2. But then worked out daylight savings exists. Thank you, says Robert, and thanks for the commentary. Glad I found your channel. Thank you very much, Dave. Look forward to seeing you again in the future. Toulouse, there's Michael in there for who will be able to win that one. I was an hour back last night and an hour forward tonight, says Kerr there. Yeah, I guess it just depends on whereabouts you end up in the world, isn't it? The joy of travel, says Kerr there as well. Commentators called this a terrific game. What utter crap, says Connor Cahill. I mean, both sides defensively will definitely have a lot of improvements that they do want to make, because at times it seemed like some tries were just like, yeah, let you run through, cheers, now we get the ball at halfway. I think I saw about 2 or 3 that seemed that way. But other than that, I mean, it was good for the first half in terms of keeping it nice and close. Then the Sharks managed to find their momentum. Of course, if those commentators are from South Africa, which I believe they are, they will find that extremely good for them. But RG Snyman having a bit of a chat with Sia Khaleesi there. Probably going to end up in a matchup with these guys. Oh, Eben Etzebeth and RG Snyman coming together. Both going to be there possibly at the World Cup. Mostly because my Munster gave away some stupid tries. Thanks so much. Cheers, mate. And also we have got there. Congrats to the Sharks. And finally having a break. Busy day like you, Hamish. The Sharks look lethal. Got their bite back today. Is Eben doing the business today, says Roof. Did very well. Oh, Mbonombi gives him a big hug, IG Snyman. Seems like he's very well liked amongst the South African players. But yeah, thank you all very much for tuning in. We have got a 30-minute break. Then we are back for our next live stream, which will be the Harlequins taking on these Stormers. But we will see you all for the next one.